contest set for one fall is for the WWWA Championship.
Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
Welcome to Around the Turnbuckle. I'm Big Al. Conspicuous by his absence is the Professor. But I will give a shout out to the Professor. The Professor is under the weather this week. He has a stomach virus that is going around in the tri-state area. I had it myself last weekend. And New Jersey has now felt the bug too. My parents live in New Jersey, and they felt the bug too in there. So get well soon, Professor. Also, congratulations on successful surgery. Mr. Theo Ivory. Seen some pictures of his bionic ankle. But again, congrats, Theo, and we hope you get back in the ring soon, brother. I know you miss it. I know you miss wrestling. With that all being said, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, about once a year for the past 3 years, I love talking to this man, and that is the founder of the 3WA, or AKA the Worldwide Wrestling Alliance, Mr. Dino Sanna. Dino, what's up, sir?
Thank you. Hi, how are you, Alan?
I'm great. I'm excellent, okay?
I hope if the Professor is watching, I hope he feels better quick.
Oh, he's watching.
You know,
He wants to make sure I mind my P's and Q's and I don't badmouth him or anything.
No.
Because I don't do that. But, if you want to hear me badmouth the Professor, watch Carnage, 3WA Carnage. There's a plug right there.
I will. And also, Theo. Hi, Theo. I hope you feel better and get back on
Mr. Ivory.
man. I watched all your stuff, man. I know you were walking a little bit the other day, so you're doing better. I hope you get back in action right away because the people
love it, man.
Yes.
We got some comments here. Christopher's here. Let's go. David Motorman's here Sunday night, and what an honor to listen to many of the great stories from the legendary Dino Sanna around the turnbuckle. Yes, thank you, David. Again, we've had you now. So this is your fourth time on. We've had you. No, this is your third time on. We've had you on twice. There was a part 1 and a part 2, and we really started from the beginning. And I urge everybody to watch those parts, because that we kind of talked about how the business started in the first place. We talked about how Triple WA got started in the first place back in the 80s, back in 1980, 1981, 1980, and some of the stars that have come through Triple WA over the years, a who's who of people. And then the second part was most of the stories. You started to talk about some of the stories, some of the, your interactions with Bruno Sammartino, your interactions with, guys like Hacksaw Jim Duggan, the Powers of Pain, and all kinds of guys that have come through, Brutus the Barber Beefcake. And so, you had stories. So now this time, I'm going to pull a Cody Rhodes, and I'm going to say, Mr. Sanna, what do you want to talk about?
That's a good one. Well, going back to what you just said, I want to show you something.
Sure.
This is the thing that was given to me by Capitan Lou Albano.
Oh, nice.
And this was done in Birdsboro near Pottstown. And Capitan Lou Albano was there that night. Bruno Sammartino was there that night. And this was presented to me for all the great stuff about, down with the wrestling and so on. And this was in the 80s, early 80s. Just to bring it out, because I know I put a post up with some things. this is nice. This was done by the SWO.
Oh, nice.
It was, Hall of Fame.
Hall of
And
Fame.
yeah, and this is quite a few years ago. The great Wolfman and Stu Lepo. See, Wolfman has been with me. I love Wolfman. He's been with me like from the beginning. From the beginning of his wrestling company, of his wrestling business, because
Sure.
he used to be with a tag team. It was Wolfman and another gentleman from upstate. I even forgot his name. And then this one, you can see the mark of the Pennsylvania.
Yes.
It was given me by the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and it's for 30 years of service. All right, and there's all signature from everybody, and so, and of course, the one from New Jersey, one of the last one, I have hanging someplace, and then another place, not now. And this is a lot of the you can recognize the WWE thing.
Yes. Yes.
I have a hundreds of these things like and contract and things that I'm making with Vince, with JJ Dillon,
Mm-hmm.
the Bushwhackers, or any stars that and trust me, I don't even remember how many names that I really use it. We really use it from WWE because, I mean, I probably didn't even mention Hercules or nothing. You remember Hercules? What
Yeah,
a
I do. Absolutely. I remember Hercules.
oh,
Absolutely.
and I, it's such a pride to be able to work with an individual that it's not because of they were on TV or whatever. It's because you get to know these people. You get to
Yes.
see what they've done. Wrestling was so different years ago.
It was.
Okay? So different in the way that there was of respect, no ego. Today, this is all we have. It's ego. I do
True.
this. This is the problem.
Yeah.
Years ago, they respect each other. They respect the fans. They know what they were doing. You go out there, after the match or something, they don't go and try to be like, they in character all their life.
Right.
They were wrestlers that really would do anything to anyone if they would say it's a fix or it's this, it's that. That was their livelihood. They believe on, the people believe on, and this is what professional wrestling is all about. Even though it's changing now. And again, this goes for everything. It's too much of a change.
Mm-hmm.
All these years that I've been involved in professional wrestling, there've been time that I was by myself. There've been time that I had 2-3 people help me. There've been time that there was only one. There've been time that I had a 3 or whatever it was. But I know one thing. Don't matter where it was or when it was, when I met, whether it was fans or whether it was stars or whether it was potential big sponsor for big show,
Mm-hmm.
this man here never used the words, I will do this.
Mm-hmm.
I make a decision, this and that. It's we. We will take care of it. We will try to do the best we can for you. Treat the people the way with respect.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you are fans, whether you're another wrestler, whether you're a customer, don't matter who you are. One person is not God. So don't go around wherever you are and say, I will give you another chance for this. Or I say this is the way it's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
No, you don't. Because all you do is tell the people to stay away from you. And this is why many people do not want to work for some people. They will not work for some people anymore because the ego, and because some other stuff that we're not going to talk about. All right.
All right, I got some
No.
comments here. David saying good evening. Hello, David. Always good to see you. Christopher Bruno was the first wrestler I liked at age 6. My dad had me watching wrestling every week until today. Yeah, Bruno was the man for quite some time. This generation has no idea. I mean, they've heard his name, but like my son's generation
Yeah.
have no idea the impact Bruno Sammartino had on the business.
David, let me say something about, I can tell you something about Bruno, okay? Because, and I know this because of Bruno tell me, right? When Bruno was back in WW, and it was called Worldwide Wrestling Federation.
Yeah, three
Okay.
W's. Vince Senior.
Yeah, with the senior, yeah.
Yeah.
And also there was another gentleman that was the promoter. His name was Phil Zacco. I don't know if you remember the name Phil Zacco. Okay.
I've heard the name in documentaries. I just don't.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. He would take care of Pennsylvania whenever the WWF had wrestling shows in Owensburg, Allentown, Philadelphia, any place in Arizona, Pittsburgh, Harrisburg, whatever. He was the promoter for the state of Pennsylvania. Phil Zacco, little guy, smaller than me, little guy. All right. But let me tell you something. When Bruno Sammartino was there, and he was the champion, Bruno Sammartino used to talk to everybody, just like when back in my when I used to do meeting before the shows. I would talk to the gentlemen, the wrestlers, and you welcome a new wrestler, or you welcome the wrestler, you say their name and everything else. You talk to them, you treat them like if they're member of the family. You see, everything I talk about, it's everything that we're here for tonight,
Yeah.
And nowadays, you don't see that. Nowadays, what you see is you're going back, okay, here's what this, I said, bye. No prayer, no nothing. Where's the respect for the wrestling business? What? Going back to Bruno Sammartino.
Yeah.
Bruno will lay the law in the way that the business is supposed to be.
Yeah.
When Bruno will come out from the back to the arena, people they explode.
Oh, sure.
Bruno, all over the place.
How many times did he sell out Madison Square Garden?
Absolutely. I remember when I went to see Bruno down at the Spectrum, a lot of other places, but down at the Spectrum, when he was having a steel cage match with the superstar Billy Graham.
Oh, boy.
There was nobody sit. I had my brother-in-laws next to me. This was a little bit before my start in the WWWA, okay?
Yeah.
This was a little bit before.
70s, right? 70s.
A few years before that, yeah.
70s.
Yeah, and even my brother-in-laws that they really didn't believe it that much or whatever, he was sitting there. When Bruno was punching the guy, boom, they would go like that to me. I say, oh, Pete, take it easy. Come on, Bruno, get him this way. Get him. People would get involved. The action was so powerful.
Yes.
Right? What do you see today? Little dancing around.
Yeah.
Jump, dance. Get back to the past. Try.
It's hard to do that.
It's hard
because, and the reason is because this is the argument that I have. Because I'm right in the middle.
Yeah.
I grew up in the 80s when kayfabe was still a thing. And, that's the thing. What you said earlier about heels and heels and faces like hanging out in the hallway and the fans see that, there are some guys out there on the independent circuit that do keep it that way. Like they stay in character. I'll give you an example. Wyndham James Winthrop III. That's when you meet that guy, that's that guy. Okay. I mean, it took me about 3 years just to earn his respect. But he gives it if you earn it, and if you give it back in return. And when you talk to him, if a fan walks up to him in the hallway, if they see him coming in or out, and he talks to them, whether he's dressed or not, he's Wyndham James Winthrop the third.
You're absolutely correct. 100%.
Yeah, and I respect that. Nowadays, the younger generations, when they're learning the business, it's no longer taught. It's no longer taught to have heels in one locker room and faces in another locker room. It's no longer taught because kayfabe in most promoters' minds is dead. And that all fans care about nowadays is a great match, quote unquote.
Mm-hmm.
They don't care about storylines. They're wrong. They couldn't be more wrong.
Absolutely.
Fans love a good story. Fans love a good, and it's an art that's gone away because most of these independent shows that we've attended, that we're going in this area, there are some exceptions to the rule. I'll give SWO their due. SWO really keeps the stories going, but there are other ones where I've gone to locally different places, and we're not even talking WWWA. I'm talking other places that I just checked out just because I'm curious, because I love wrestling. And I go and I'm like, what the heck is going on here?
Yeah.
Like, it's just, it's theatrics more. It's more about gymnastics. It's more about showing me the best move that you could possibly do. It's about putting on like 5-star bangers every single time. But I mean, if every single match tries to do that, if every single match tries to outdo the other and you're not telling a story there, what separates match 1 from match 3 from match 5? Nothing.
Yeah.
People pay money in Quakertown to see JT Cage get his ass kicked because JT Cage is over as he's one of the most hated guys there. So they can't wait to watch that happen. They can't wait to watch Wyndham get his butt kicked. That's what wrestling used to be.
Yeah.
It used to be that way, and I don't think there's ever any going back. And that's the problem.
Well, yeah, I understand, but I still say it's easier to try to do the old style than it is to do some other stuff you see nowadays. And when I used to have a meeting, well, it's not just when I used to have a meeting. When Paul did the meeting too, when we have a meeting outside and we talk to the guys and we do the right, we did it right. We did the right things. We did it right. And we would tell the people, Paul would tell the thing, okay, this is what we expect, blah, 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 blah. Don't do anything that we want, because sometimes some guys will kind of stretch out or what. And Paul will say, look, don't do anything that I don't know. Otherwise, because back in the days, or I know I done it myself, even before Paul, if some people would just go out there and try to be a-hole,
right?
We would send 3, 4, 5 guys in the ring and cut the shit out, sorry my language.
A little bit of old school there.
Yeah, but I want to finish the little things that we say about the old time, whatever.
Yeah.
It's just, it was entirely different. I remember one time, and I don't know if I said it before or not, we had this company, not I myself, Dino, but the 3WA had a couple night of wrestling. We did a one in Williamsport. We did a one in Pottstown, and we had a cage match. And I had another one in Philadelphia someplace. We get a cage match every night. And I had a couple of guys. There was Tony Stetson and Johnny Hot Body. And those guys, man, they're really old school wrestlers. I love them guys. They worked for me so many years. But the first night, we had the cage. They really didn't use, that much of the cage, So Bruno said, he said, would you mind if I talk to the guys, for the steel cage match, or who's going to do tomorrow night, what have you? So he talked to them. Of course, I love it. I like it that Bruno take the time to talk to the guys, and
Sure.
So to make the story short, the next night it was a cage match. When you hit the cage with your freaking face or with your arms or whatever. You don't go in and you dance inside the steel cage match, which you
Right.
see nowadays in some places.
Mhm.
And first of all, what do you do a cage match for? What happened before? What
Right.
take you to do a cage match?
It's usually a means to an end. It should be.
Did you do a match? Did you do a rematch? Did you do this no disqualification? Did you do a sub match? Did you do the match with all the guys stand aside,
Lumberjack.
lumberjack match? Did you do all that kind of match? Now you need something better, so you go into a cage match.
Right.
You see some people now they just do a steel cage match for
Right.
some reason.
For
Ooh,
no reason.
what
Correct.
what for? And then they go
Correct.
in, they go around and around and around and never touch the cage. Are
Right.
you kidding me?
Yeah.
So
It used to end a feud, right? I mean, cage matches would be the last resort
a
to end
feud.
a to end a
Like you
feud.
said before, that you don't see too many feud. You don't, nowadays and whatever. And you know what? Speaking of us, JT Cage, say what you want to say about that man, but he works his ass off.
Oh yeah.
I remember when he came to me and told me he wanted an opportunity, he wanted a chance. And JT, if you are watching this, you know what I'm saying, and you can call and say whether I'm lying or not. Right? You want an opportunity, and I say absolutely.
On this show, Dino, if you say JT Cage's name enough, he somehow he pops up. I don't know if it's a
Yeah.
comment he'll put it. I don't know what he'll do.
Well, JT Cage and the hot guy, good guy,
Yeah.
they work their ass off. Every single match that he gets in, he work.
Yeah.
He cares for the business. He cares
Passion.
for the fans.
They both have unbridled passion for the business.
Wyndham,
I mean, with Hat Guy, it started back when he was a fan,
he was a
way
fan.
back when.
Where head guy was with Dino before he went to ECW. There
Yeah.
was no ECW before. He was a fan, him and four other guys. And John, that guy could call you and tell you whether I'm telling the truth or not.
No,
He
yeah,
used to
I
sit
believe
on
it.
the front row all the time. Him and a few other guys, they used to
Being
come
loud and
together.
obnoxious, right?
Yeah,
Because he doesn't know any other way.
yeah, all the time. And then, he wanted an opportunity to be a manager, and that's how he started. Then he went to ECW, and they let him be and then they get to call
He
ECW.
was a character where
Right.
he'd be right up in front row center. He'd be right up there with his hat. And if he wouldn't have the hat on, the fans would start chanting, "Where's your hat? Where's your hat?" And
Yeah.
then he'd put it on and get a pop out of that.
By the way, let me ask you something because I see myself very dark. Am I very dark to you there?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I'm sitting right underneath a chandelier, so
Yeah, well, if we take a break, I'm going to get more light into this room.
you can do that if you want. Christopher, I got a comment here from Christopher. It was awesome back in the day to meet wrestlers for free. Now they want insane amounts of money for meet and greets. He's talking about guys from like WWE and
Yeah,
such.
well, every time I had a star, whether it was Bruno, whether it was Hercules, no matter who it was, they always come out intermission time or before the show started,
Mm-hmm.
and meet people and for free.
Right.
Then they started selling pictures and this and that. That's
So do you know Mr. Bob Bushman?
who.
Bob Bushman.
Yes.
So he's here. He says John Bailey or the Hat Guy is one of the greatest attractions in WWWA. Such an awesome time seeing him work the crowd. Yeah.
I can agree with that more. Bob Bushman, I agree. John is one of the best. And again, he cares for the business and he cares for the fans, for the wrestling fans.
Right.
And
But he doesn't want you to know it. When I've seen him, I've been in his presence where a fan will get on his nerves in the hallway of the Q Mart, and he snaps right into character, and he
Immediately.
says, "You just keep walking," or whatever he says.
You know, John, the high guy and myself, we had a couple we had a couple of things going on back when we were at Zern and a few other places too. He's pretty tough. I mean, he's not a nobody, you know.
I believe it. I believe it.
But I do have a respect for him. Is that they're wonderful people, and they've been around me for God knows how many years. I don't even know.
Can I let you in on a little secret? Okay, so I was invited down to the 40th anniversary show by James Brickhouse. He just happened to know my brother TJ and said, "Hey, do you? My brother's starting a podcast. He wanted to know if he can come down and meet some of the wrestlers and maybe meet Mr. Sanna, blah blah blah." And so said, "Yeah, we're about to have our 40th anniversary. It's an outdoor show. It's a free show, so come to the show and hang out." So I that was my first Triple WA show, and I went there, and my first impressions were, that's where I saw the Hat Guy and JT Cage for the first time, and they were initially the reason why I kept coming back, because I'm the guy that roots for the bad guys. I'm the guy that roots for the bad guys in movies. My favorite wrestler of all time was Roddy Piper and Macho Man Randy Savage. They're pretty close, but Macho Man Randy Savage when he was a heel, not not when he was champion or whatever, but when he was a heel. But those two were my all-time favorites, and so I always root for the bad guys. So when JT turned, and I got to witness that, and he joined the original family. I've been coming to every single show since.
Thank you.
So thank you to you, thank you to JT Cage and Hat Guy, and thank you to everybody else who has ever performed, because I have enjoyed every minute. When I was a fan at first, and now I'm doing commentary, and I am honored to sit next to the professor and call the matches and have the wrestlers come up to us and say, "Oh my God, we heard your commentary and we really appreciate it." And I appreciate them. We appreciate them. Bob says, "Dino, you're also my friend. Wait, you also my friend are the greatest." Okay, Dino, you also, my friend, are the greatest promoter and amazing friend and true icon in this business that we miss dearly. So there you go.
Thank
We
you.
missed Bob. Bob was absent for a while. Bob was having some health issues and things, and we were so happy to see Bob at the 44th anniversary show. He was there. Hat Guy, I think JT and the Hat Guy are too scared to call in tonight.
While you wait for that, let me get some light in here because
Go ahead, all right.
a little better.
I'll message. Yeah, listen, while Dino's getting some light in here,
Yeah.
I will message. I will message JT Cage.
All right.
Make no mistake about that. I talk to him almost every day. And see what he says. We'll see what he says. I sent him a message. There you go, David. I sent him a message. We'll see what the ruiner of it all, the 3WA Extreme Champion, says as far as Dino Sanna goes. Dino Sanna, again, getting some light. For those of you just joining me right now, stick with us. Little program note. Don't forget that this Tuesday, if the professor is feeling up to it, we're going to talk some hot topics. We're going to talk some Becky Lynch. Her contract is up in WWE. That's a big topic this week. So we're going to talk about that on Tuesday if the professor's feeling up to it, because I'm not going to talk by myself. Yeah, thank you. Let's see what he says. I think he's scared. Well, we're going to find out. Because, again, anybody who's watched Around the Turnbuckle, guys, if you've watched Around the Turnbuckle, if you say JT Cage's name enough, he pops up. I mean, he really does. That's what he does. And if at all possible, and if anything, I mean, if he won't come on the show, maybe he'll comment or something to that effect. We'll see. But again, JT Cage is always welcome here. JT Cage, again, I'm going to reiterate it, is one of the main reasons why I still go to to Triple WA. And congratulations, by the way, to the Roadblock Chad McCoy at the 44th anniversary. Uh, Chad McCoy, um, for the first time ever, captured the 3WA heavyweight championship. So, and the entire locker room emptied out, and it was a great moment. And then he also called me to the ring, which, Chad, I know you watch this show. I want to, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for that. Thank you um, for bringing me into the ring. And David's David says, you're right. He usually does, but tonight Dino's on, so maybe he's scared. I don't think he's scared of Dino. Dino said some nice things about Mr. Cage and the Hat Guy earlier, so I don't think he's scared of Dino, but we'll see. We'll find out. There you go. There you are. That's much brighter right there. So I sent Mr. Cage a message. Let's see if he responds. But in the meantime, you and I will still have our conversation.
No problem.
But fans and Bob, thank you very much for your comments about Mr. Sanna. I agree. I want to publicly thank you for everything you did for me and the professor. When we were coming in as fans, allowing us the opportunities that you've afforded us. You had heard through the grapevine that I was interested in being a ring announcer, so you put me in the ring to try that out. You were part of that process. Me, Mark Mest gave me a shot also, and you were part of that process of getting over my fear. My fear was to talk in front of people. I could not do that.
I remember that.
And I was very nervous about talking in front of people, and I conquered that fear thanks to you and thanks to Mr. Mest. And then Wolfman had me come down to SWO, and and now I am their regular ring announcer each and every month, which I humbly appreciate from them to allow me to do that. And the fans always come up to me, tell me how good I'm doing, or ask for an autograph, which is an amazing thing. That's not why we started this podcast. We started this podcast to try to help wrestlers, who aren't necessarily household names, have a place to come and talk about what their journey is and what they want out of this business. Never did we think we'd end up ring announcing or commentating, and we are thankful and humble, and you are one of the reasons why. So thank you.
Thank you.
Christopher from South Carolina says, Dino, I'm sure you've seen a ton of matches. What was your favorite? Ooh. I mean, favorite match as in ever?
Yeah, that's what I like to know.
I mean, favorite match ever, or favorite Triple WA, or favorite WWF, or because I'm sure he might say something along the lines of say Bruno versus Superstar Billy Graham, or I don't know.
If it's favorite matches, yeah, we have to go back.
Yeah, he's saying ever.
I would have to say one of the best match actually was when Bruno and Larry Zbyszko went at each other. I was in Allentown at the fairground. I know that it was, there was some other match involved with them in some other town, but I was up in Allentown at the fairground when it was the first time that Larry turned on Bruno. I remember I was maybe about 50 feet away from the ring, okay? And Bruno was in the ring and he's doing something. And Larry come out, hit him with the steel chair, blood all over the place. And, Bruno got on him and everything else. And then everything happened from there on. And let me tell you something, some people were saying stuff like, fake blood. Or, no. There is no such thing as fake blood, especially when you see Bruno Sammartino involved.
Sure.
I seen it. All right. I talked to Bruno. I see Bruno face and close up. He had more scars on his head,
Oh yeah.
his nose. He had nose broke so many times. His neck,
Mhm.
his arm, so many times. You won't believe it. You won't believe it.
Yeah.
And that man went inside the ring and did his job, whether he had a pain that he can't stand for, whether he had a. I remember he went on a ring with a broken arm, and he had a doctor the night before when he was going to wrestle with uh, George the Animal Seal in a cage match. It happened in Baltimore, the first one, and Bruno had a dislocated arm. He went to the hospital, they put it back, and they put a cast on it. The
Yeah.
next night, he had to have another steel cage in New York. All right, and I know I say this before.
Yeah.
Vince and the promoter, they said, Bruno, we got to come up with something because there's no way you could wrestle. He said, bull crap. With different words. He said, I'm going to wrestle. He said, how the hell are you going to go in the cage with George the Animal and do this? He called the doctor right there at the arena in New York.
Mm-hmm.
Said, get this thing out of here. The doctor said, you know I can do that. Get it out or I'll break it myself. He said, get it out of here and put on this side. You know, they used to have the thing that after an hour it gets hard. You know,
Yeah.
the cement, whatever they call.
Yeah, the hard cast.
Yeah, the doctor say, I can't do that. He said, I'm giving you another chance. He said, you do it or I'll do it myself. So the kiss went out of here and went over here. So when he went on the ring, he's wrestled George the Animal Steel. What George does with his he going to the kiss. He don't know that was a good harm. Boom, and he got him so many times and throw him in the cage and all of that he won the match. And you know, this story was told me by Bruno himself with George the Animal Steel sit right next to us almost. And George could stop talking. He said, you SOB, that's how you screw me. He said, because, you know, this is what happened years and years and years ago.
Oh yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, you hear constant stories, and the professor tells me stories about stuff that he reads about. Guys used to rib each other and things like that. It was a different time, a different business. You know, and you know, I've watched a lot of these documentaries. I really like some of the old school stuff. They just had one. WWE Rivals had one with Dusty versus Ric Flair. That was that was one of the all time big rivals.
I'll tell you a little story. All right. We
Mhm.
went in Africa. I took 18 stars. We took in Africa. Okay.
Mhm.
And we were doing a night on outside event for VIP, they call. And it was about 18,000 VIP. Another night we did at the Nakivuko Stadium in town where we were. There was over 40,000 people. 40,000 people. Okay. But I had all superstars that were there, plus a couple guys that I had, but 18 in total. I mean, if anybody can see the picture on the website, if it's still there. But here was Abdullah the Butcher, Snuka, Nikolai Volko, Tony Atlas, Coco Beware, the Birdsman, and
Yes.
on and on. And the reason why I'm saying this is this. When we started the show, when we started the wrestling, that we went out and again, 40-some thousand people screaming all over the place. Well, Coco Beware got to the microphone, you know, and they knew that we were the only people white over there almost. Coco Beware and Tony Atlas was with us, but then, you know, and we're in this arena with, and we say we got to be careful, you know, we got to be nice.
Yeah.
Don't say anything that will create a problem. So Coco Beware gets the microphone and he started yap, yap, yap and said, this white promoter, Dino, Sanna, blah, blah, blah. blah. Well, and this is real. Tony Adler did not like that. And so is Abdullah the Butcher. Tony Adler ran into the ring. They thought it was a match or something.
Right. They thought it was part of the show.
What happened. He went in, he beat the shit out of Coco Beware, and then Abdullah pulled him out of the ring and kicked him and everything. So the guys, everybody loved it. They thought it was a big thing. But I know what was going on. They beat the hell out of him because he started a problem in another nation. It's a no-no.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
my goodness.
I tell you.
He was on TV when he got to WWF television. He was the Birdman. I remember, before that he was wrestling all kinds of places and different things. And my grandmother, God rest her soul, was the first person in my family to be a wrestling fan that I can remember. And that was his favorite because she loved birds. And so he'd come to the ring and he'd have the parrot and he'd be the Birdman, Coco Beware. And so I directly link my love of wrestling to that because when she fell in love with Coco Beware and the Birdman, watching him on TV, I'd stay over my grandmother's house when I was maybe 5 years old so that I could watch wrestling because they wouldn't let me watch it at home. So, the Birdman has a little bit of part to play in my story, but like that, later on, I started going to whenever WWF was in town, either in Allentown at the Ag Hall or Hamburg at the Field House.
Yeah,
they were taping like Superstars of Wrestling. They were doing TV tapings and stuff like that. So my stepfather would go and he'd get tickets, and he would take me all the time, and that's how I got introduced to going to live shows and things like that. So I saw Hogan, Snuka, Piper, Andre, King Kong Bundy, Bobby the Brain Heenan. I was in the building when Piper hit Snuka with the coconut.
Yeah,
I was there. That's where my mouth was like, and that's where I fell in love with Roddy Piper.
Yeah. So I know some people are probably thinking, okay, we want to get some other stories. Well, I can't even count how many messages I got regarding my post.
Yeah.
My retiring. All right. So I know that you and I know a lot of referee and wrestlers and everybody else know that, and no disrespect, sometime referee or wrestler, they retire and then they think about it, or, because in this business, you can really never retire.
You never leave.
Never. You never.
Or it never leaves you, I should say.
Okay, it's in it.
Mm-hmm.
So I seen wrestlers and referees and stuff retire and then come back, and some have done it more than a few times. So there are a few reasons why I put that post about retirement. One would have been a normal post to say, okay, I got somebody else now that's running the company.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to run. I want to be involved all the time as far as going to the place,
sure,
and see the wrestling and see my friend, because
see the
fans that I have, the friends that we have, are my friend. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to stop that, but I wanted to stop as, doing the heavy duty work or do anything, because I figured, if somebody else got it now, let them take care of it. because lately I got the feeling like I was in the way, or I was not wanted to be. You see, because before that night, I done everything I could in any way, shape, or form to help the new people that run. And let me
Yeah.
tell you, Paul is a nice guy. I
Yeah.
like Paul. That's why Paul is what he is.
I
Because
get along with him.
Paul would have been a different thing. I like Paul. I have nothing bad to say about Paul. Okay. And if Paul is here to listen, you know,
Mm-hmm.
I have nothing bad to say about Paul. But, okay, Paul alone cannot run the business because he's really busy.
Yeah.
I should have made it little different arrangement before I passed it, the whole thing.
Before you stepped away.
Not, but yeah, entirely before I did. Because what I should
Right.
have done is making sure that as a full employee, as a full thing, there would not be Paul alone. It would be Paul, and then somebody like, and I don't mind saying the name because I've respected this man 100%.
Yeah.
For every single thing he has ever done for 3WA. Wyndham James Winthrop.
Yes.
He is an asset to the company.
Absolutely, he is.
He helps us not just inside the ring to be what he is, but he helps this company greatly
Yep.
by doing a lot of things that people do not know, so I don't have to name
Yeah.
every
Right.
single thing he does.
Correct.
And Paul knows that. I know that. So I wish that as a part of the transaction,
Yeah.
Wyndham James Winthrop would have been involved 100% with Paul because he's a wrestler. He knows his business. He knows how to take care of some things that Paul do not have the time to take care of it. This is serious business that you could lose it all if you
Yeah.
don't do things right.
Agreed.
And some people already told me that some things. But also, maybe I should get Austin involved with Paul to do more things because Austin could do some things that Paul needed to get it done.
Yeah.
This cannot be handled from people that never had anything to do with the wrestling business or with people they have a big ego and no respect for other or do not appreciate others. So I have no disrespect for Paul. And I mean it is sincerely. But this is we business. This is
Yeah.
not I business.
Yeah.
And I care for the 3WA. I never screw anybody. So for me to hear that those words were used in Quakertown, that Dino screwing us, I would like to know what I did to screw anybody. Me? Are you kidding? If I say I had 100 or 150 messages from people that they miss me or they want me back or this and that, and I'd say that I was going to retire on that post that I put on the thing, I
Yeah.
did it because of some things that happen and also achievement and things that I've received before because I feel if I am the man who made this company, if I am the man that got 44 years and now the company, God bless, I hope it goes for another 100 years, not 40 years.
Sure.
Okay?
Absolutely.
I feel that I should not be the one to say, hey, can we do something for my retirement?
Yeah.
I shouldn't have done that. I feel that I should be asked or should be told, we have something coming up that we're going to do for the fans or for everybody because you put up us for retirement.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel that I should get a note that say Facebook say that so and so person's request that you remove yourself from 3WA page. Really? Okay, I did it. I removed myself from 3WA page. That's what I'm going to say. Thank you. That's a nice thank you for everything I've done for 44 years. Are you kidding me? Why? Because if some people don't have the guts or they will not allow themselves to call you. And again, I'm not saying this because I want to start any shit. What I'm saying is the truth. So help me God. What I'm saying is if I have a problem with somebody, I'll get the freaking telephone and talk. But some people will not allow themselves to do that. Why? I never say anything bad about anybody. I want this company to be 100% better. And I know how to get it done better. And I'm sure some other people know. Don't have a big ego because it's not going to take you any place. It will not.
So, before we were involved with 3WA to now, the thing that the most struck the professor and I is that it's not just 3WA; it's everywhere in the business.
Yeah,
there are a lot of egos in the business today.
Yeah, for what?
And there are a lot of people who want to do things a certain way, and there are other people who know, what's best for business, and there are people who don't know what's best for business, and it's unfortunate, but that's the nature of this beast. As far as everything you just said, I've been having this little ticker go on the bottom here that says, full disclaimer, your opinions don't reflect the opinions of me or the professor.
Yeah.
But I will say this. To disrespect you in any way, no matter how it was done or whether it was done, to disrespect you in any way, in my opinion, is not the right thing to do to somebody who this organization would not exist if you didn't start it. So to honor you on the way out is the least they could do. But that's my opinion. That's not the professor's. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
And listen, whatever that happened to you, I am sorry that that's happened to you, but I can speak on the behalf of the 3WA fans, to which I am a lot of friends with a lot of them. They respect you. They always will respect you. They know that 3WA doesn't exist without Dino Sanna. And if 3WA continues, like you said, another 40 years, 100 years, whatever, you are always going to be part of it long after you're gone. I hope you realize that.
Well, I hope so, because I was told by Paul when we did the transaction that I will keep the name as a president as long as I live.
I remember you saying that.
Right. And I hope it stays that way. I don't have a personal problem with Paul. I have a personal problem the way things have been handled from some people, whoever they are. We're not going to mention whatever, because Dino wants the best. That's why we done what we done. And you know how many calls, how many messages I got from people that say, let's show that they had it there. There were people screaming, "We want Dino, we want Dino." I heard
the 44th anniversary show.
The 44th anniversary show, yeah. Mm-hmm. I was never asked to go there. I was never invited. You say, why did I need to be invited? Because of the post that I put up, and because of what happened on April 13, and because I sent the messages. I sent a couple little messages for some people that they called me, and I forward the message to Paul, and he said thank you. Mm-hmm. But also I explained myself, sending this big email, and I never got a message back. And this was back on May.
Not since April. Yeah, so not since April 13th.
Yeah,
Have you heard anything? And that, what was that from May something? Did you
yeah,
say May?
yeah. The email May 12 too, April 13, April 14. It's.
So
And
I
then,
have a message for you from the professor, and he said, Dino, I'm terribly sorry that I couldn't make it on tonight. I'm equally sorry you don't feel like things ended the way you wanted them to. Your legacy, though, is as someone who gave the opportunity, including this nerdy guy who had zero experience as a play-by-play announcer, and you gave me the time and the room to grow and become good enough that other companies have been willing to hire me, which is true.
I
And
appreciate it. I
I've
appreciate it.
listened, and I've enjoyed the ride with him. Believe me, I've enjoyed watching him grow, because if you go back and watch 3WA Carnage episode 1, and then you watch the last one, which was episode 76, we sound a little bit more like Bobby the Brain Heenan and Gorilla Monsoon versus,
Yeah.
two Joe Blows off the street. The first.
And on that post, I never say that I would never go into the show. I was just not invited, and the feeling was there, But I'll say this: it's not over. Because I say I retire from doing things.
Yeah,
I didn't say goodbye to my fans, so I got to find out a way to
do that,
to do that.
and you should be allowed to do that. I mean, that's my opinion.
Well,
You should be allowed at least to do that.
well, there's a lot of way to handle this, whether things will change, and I hope it'll change. But somebody got to explain to me one thing before something change. Somebody got to say to me how I screw somebody, because that's
I don't know anything. I don't know anything about that.
well, if I have somebody from Quakertown that called me and say, does someone say, "Oh, is Dino screwing us now?" Nah, come on.
I don't know. I don't know.
But anyway, I will find a way, even if I have to have a free wrestling show in Quakertown. I know that I'm not a promoter now, and I know that I told Paul that I would not ever start another company. I'm 74 years old, so I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
Have you, Alan, do you know how many companies ask me that they want to do something to
Sure.
hire me on the ring,
Sure.
retire from the ring in Quakertown? A lot of companies, they are willing to put up their ring without even the name of the company, free for all the fans, just so that I can retire, legally the way people do it. But again, like I say, I don't know if I'm going to do that, because I use the words retire because, sincerely, the way I said at the beginning, they're doing all the work now.
They are.
I'll come
They
over.
are, and I mean, in all fairness, other than the disrespect that you're speaking about, the 44th anniversary show was a pretty good show. I think the fans that were there had a good time. Roadblock won the championship, which was a huge moment for him.
That was nice for him. Yeah, I know.
That was great.
I watched on Facebook.
Yeah,
that was
fantastic.
very nice.
Yeah, wait till you see. I mean, wait till the video comes up with the commentary and all that stuff, because that was an amazing moment for the fans, and the locker room cleared out. They were all a huge respectful moment for him, kind of like a Dusty ending thing, where all the faces were in the ring with the hometown guy.
He deserved it. He deserved it.
He absolutely did. I got a comment here from David. He says, I will also say I have a lot of respect for Dino. I've never had the opportunity to come to a WWA show, but there is a lot that you do for other companies like SWO and your friendship with the Wolfman. Yeah.
I appreciate
David
it.
is, and David And I know David. David Hill is a regular at almost every SWO show, because that's the one that's closest to him. So yeah, he's a huge supporter of what they do, and I appreciate him. He's always coming on here and watching our Around the Turnbuckle show and making comments. So thank you for that, David.
I appreciate it.
So we've talked an hour. Is there anything else that you would like to say before we get out of here? And of course, the door is always open. You are always welcome to come back.
Oh, I'm sure I'll be back. I'm sure it's not, unless something, happened to me that I kick the bucket or anything.
Don't go. You had to go down the dark path.
Yeah. Well, but no, I feel great. I feel really great.
Every time I see you on Facebook, you're down at the beach somewhere in Virginia or something.
Well, yeah, because eventually I want to retire there. Right now, we just go back and forth. So but I said it before to some people that I was going to be here the whole month of April and the whole month of May.
I remember you saying that too.
Right. So there's no excuse that Dino wasn't there or anything. Yeah. But who knows? We'll see what the near future brings. I somehow the fans will see me again. Somehow.
You know what? I believe that in my heart that'll happen one way or the other.
One thing I will say is that I hope that somehow, and I don't know what I could do, but I hope somehow that Wyndham, James Winthorpe, and Austin, maybe some others, I don't know, would get a call to help them out.
I happen to know that they do a lot anyway. And kudos to both of them for what they do. But I understand what you mean. Maybe have a little bit more of a hands-on approach to it.
Yeah, you need people that know what they do.
Yeah, and those two guys. I mean, Austin's passion for the business at his age is amazing, and Wyndham, of course. Yeah. We've already talked about him all the entire show. His mind for the business.
I say this to names and this to people because I had the guts to come out and say, so that everybody could hear, and so that the people responsible could probably think about it and say, maybe he's right. Not because anything else, but somebody's got to say it.
All right, well, Dino, don't go anywhere. All right, I'll talk to you after the show. Sure. Guys, please subscribe to my Around the Turnbuckle channel if you have not already. We are approaching 500 subscribers, and I want to get there ASAP. That'd be great. And also, on Tuesday, if the professor's feeling up to it, we're going to talk some WWE's going on, and we're going to talk some contracts, such as Becky Lynch. Her contract expired this past Saturday. That would be yesterday. So we're going to talk about that if he's feeling up to it. Also, next week on Around the Turnbuckle, same time, same channel, 6 o'clock, we'll be back with another guest. My guest tonight has been the one and only, the founder of 3WA, Mr. Dino Sanna. And I appreciate him, and I appreciate each and every one of you that watched and each and every one of you that commented. This show would not exist without you guys. Thank you so much. And we will see you. I think I get one more comment in here. Steve, bring Dino back. There it is. That's a good way to end it right there. All right. For the professor in his absence and Mr. Dino Sanna, I am Big Al. This was Around the Turnbuckle. We'll see you guys next time.
You think you know me?
Oh, yeah. If you smile.
Calculations are correct.